Hi, my name is George, and I got a quick question for you. Do you like Labor Day? Do you like weekends? Do you like having children not working in factories getting their arms severed? Do you like getting a minimum wage? Or having protected rights as a worker? Well, if you like any of this stuff, you have one person to thank, or millions of people to thank: unions. While unions may be fantastic for the worker, there's one group in particular that really does not like unions, and that is the exploitative corporations that revile them because they make them do more for their people. So today, we're going to look at how corporations try to sell their employees on the evils of unions and try to sway them towards going against themselves. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. No fluff, no filler. And let's learn about how corporations hate unions and hate workers' rights.
There can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun.
Now, I want to preface that there is a 30-minute long version of this video. I chose the more viral 3-minute version, but I'm going to link the full version in the description of the video because I think it's important that you see what companies are trying to show their employees and the arguments that they make towards anti-unionization, because they're batshit insane and do not have your best interest in mind.
Welcome. We're excited to have you at this training, specifically designed to give you the tools that you need for success when it comes to labor organizing.
Tools for success? Sweet. So you're going to tell people how to contact union reps, how to negotiate for their rights, to make sure that they're being treated correctly by their supervisors and by the corporation itself. I mean, this is all great. I mean, why would I be making a video about this? This sounds perfect.
During this course, we'll cover several important topics, such as our position on unions, associate rights, signs of employee disengagement, and how to identify, escalate, and address associate concerns.
Employee rights? A stance on unions? I mean, surely Amazon, the reputable, ethical company that they are, would obviously be very pro-worker, so this should be pretty good. I'm pretty confident that we're gonna see a real, progressive statement.
We are not anti-union, but we are not neutral either.
I feel like Amazon saying this is akin to those douchey frat bros who are just like, look bro, I'm not racist, but you can't be pro-union and then say you're not anti-union followed by a but statement, right? If you are not anti-union, but you're not pro. So let's not get that twisted real quick. Let's just get past that rhetoric. Let's see what they have to say, though.
We will boldly defend our direct relationship with associates as best for the associate, the business, and our shareholders. We do not believe unions are in the best interest of our customers, our shareholders, or most importantly, our associates.
Why is that, Amazon? Does that have to do with the fact that it'd be much harder to exploit workers and make them work ridiculously long hours at ridiculous speeds in order to get products out in next day shipping for those people who can't wait an extra day? Personally speaking, my own bias, I have Amazon Prime, but I don't give a shit if I had to wait an extra 5 days to, get my fucking package of USB drives or whatever the hell I'm buying, I don't care if I need to wait if it means that other people are getting better rights. So, to say it's not better for the customers, yeah, people can't get their shit next day, but people don't need their shit next day, This idea that we need to get our goods as fast as possible at lightning speeds, it's completely unnecessary. The only reason that you would need something next day is if it's like a fucking prescription. And if you need something next day, there's something, it's kind of crazy. It's called a brick and mortar store that you could walk to. Don't drive if you don't have to. If you have to drive. Reduce the carbon footprint. And for shareholders, of course it's not going to be as good because you have to fucking pay people a reasonable wage. But don't say for a second, don't even pretend that it's better for the employee. And we'll break down their arguments in a little bit, but I just want to get this out of the way for anyone who is at retail or is even consider unionizing, but is worried that it won't be in your best interest. It always is in your best interest. Sure, they might take a little off the top of your paycheck, but they'll only use that money in certain circumstances. They'll only use that money if they are protesting. And furthermore, any right that you would get with this union will far exceed the amount that you will lose per paycheck by giving to them.
Our business model is built upon speed, innovation, and customer obsession, things that are generally not associated with unions.
You know, Amazon's right. Unions generally aren't associated with ridiculous expectations of speed, forcing people to piss in water bottles because if they took a bathroom break, they would be fired. Real innovative stuff, real fast stuff, you know. I mean, of course, Amazon isn't linked to any kind of union. They're like the workers' worst nightmare in terms of workers' rights. I mean, the only thing that would be worse is like obviously those factories in the 1800s where people would literally get crushed to death. Oh wait, what is that? Amazon employees had to work overnight at a warehouse during a tornado where people died because they couldn't fucking leave. Oh, okay. So yeah, it is like the modern day Gilded Age factory.
When we lose sight of those critical focus areas, we jeopardize everyone's job security. We don't badmouth unions in general, but we will speak openly with associates about unions, including any specific concerns about particular unions involved in organizing.
I mean, that's a complete fucking lie. Amazon is the one who sets the expectations for the job. So if their expectations are that which are unethical and mistreat workers and they keep it to that standard, if people fall below that standard of speed or time and the amount of packages needed to be delivered or processed, then yeah, it risks job security. But that only risks job security because Amazon makes it risk job security. Now, if there was a union in place which set basic precedent for what is allowed and what Amazon should be able to realistically expect from workers without jeopardizing the health and safety of those employees, it wouldn't risk job security. Because it's not like Amazon's gonna lose trillions of dollars overnight because packages take 4 days to get to someone's house, right? It's not like Amazon is going to instantly lose that money as soon as the unions come in. If anything, it's going to promote better working conditions, which in turn might improve the quality of work. So while it's slower, you'll have employees that actually want to work at Amazon. Also, Amazon, really? You don't badmouth unions? How about in Alabama, where warehouse workers tried to unionize and you ass-blasted them with anti-union phone calls and put up anti-union propaganda everywhere? Does that not ring a bell? Or how about the fact you pay consultants $10,000 a day to make sure that the whole unionization thing didn't happen?
And we share our preference for a direct working relationship frequently and boldly, even when no organizing activity has occurred.
Oh, I get it. So you don't badmouth unions, you just boldly exclaim that you hate unions whenever you can, even when no organizing is occurring. So you do fucking badmouth them. I love the fact that this video is just so full of contradictions. It's like 1 second they say something, the next second completely say something else. You gotta appreciate that in a company. Love transparency.
You will learn about the warning signs most commonly associated with early union organizing.
Yo, why the fuck is Amazon treating unionization like it's a fucking medical commercial? Now it's time to recognize the warning signs of early onset unionization. Symptoms include being treated like shit by your boss, not making enough money, impossible standards of actual work ethic, and overall lower quality of life. If you're experiencing any of these symptoms, you may have unionization. So fucking stupid.
As well as other warning signs that could indicate associate disengagement, vulnerability to organizing, or early organizing activity.
I swear to God, like in 2 seconds, I'm expecting the fucking Humero logo to like show up on the screen.
While employees have the right to organize, we have a right and responsibility to share our position that a direct working relationship is better for the customer, the company, and the associate.
Okay, look, this direct working relationship, complete bullshit. The only way you're ever going to get any kind of wage increase or proper health benefit or, new rights, like for instance, the ability as an Amazon employee to work in a place where you can go to the bathroom, it's going to be through collective bargaining. You're never going to be able to advocate for yourself on your own because it's going to be you versus a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And that's where the beauty of collective bargaining comes in. When you collectively bargain with either a union or, for instance, in solidarity with our people during like the Great Resignation that's been happening where, thousands of people have been quitting their jobs because they're saying, it's COVID and we're tired of this shit, you're underpaying us and you're treating us like garbage, we can get better jobs. And you know what happened? All the wages went up. I wonder why. Couldn't be, the fact that these people were running out of people to work? And then they cry about how
no one wants to work anymore. Oh no.
No, people want to work, they just don't want to work in god-awful conditions. And that's exactly what the beauty of a union is. When you're unionized, you have people who will work with you to get what you deserve.
If you see warning signs of potential organizing, notify your building HRM and GM site leader immediately.
No. How about you don't be a narc and don't snitch on your coworkers? I mean, it's not like anything good will happen to you if you do that. All you'll be doing is telling on your friends, getting them to hate you, and then the corporation's gonna give you zero benefits to doing that.
The most obvious signs would include use of words associated with unions or union-led movements like living wage or steward.
Make sure to watch out for those damn living wages. Oh man, those union people just want everything from us. They just want to fucking survive. Okay, so shout out the whole worker for documenting this and actually getting this out there. If you want to watch the full 29-minute video, it's going to be in the description again. But it's time to look at our friends over at Target now.
There can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun.
Welcome to Target, where we know you'll have a terrific experience. I'm Doug.
And I'm Maria. And even if you already started working here, you're already part of an important team in a great Target store.
Hey Doug, hey Maria.
Your fellow team members are anxious to help you and to make working at Target a positive and rewarding experience.
Just a little FYI, working in retail is never positive nor rewarding. It's literally the worst fucking thing ever.
Target prides itself on our open door policy. Ask your team leader, ask your ETL, or ask any supervisor. Their doors and every door are always open to you and what you have to say.
Okay, I'll show you exactly how this open door policy goes in reality. Ready? This is me, the employee. Hey boss man, can I talk to you? Boss man. Yeah, sure. Come on in. We have an open door policy where you can ask us anything. Employee. Yeah, can I get more money? I've been working here for 5 years and I'm making as much as someone who just started. Haha, no. Open door policy.
Now, just a few years ago, we really didn't sell that much in the way of grocery items. But now, well, many of our stores have a full-line grocery.
Whoa, that's fucking sick.
And others sell many more food items, which means that we're now competing not only with other retailers, but with grocery stores too.
How will you ever do it? Target, one of the biggest retail box stores ever? How could you ever compete with a grocery store?
That's a huge challenge, but we believe we can win the battle with the competition because not only do we have high quality products at competitive prices, we've got the best guest service in the business. And because we're the best, that makes those of us at Target a target ourselves.
We're a Target because we're
a threat to unions.
What does that exactly entail, Doug? What do you mean you're a threat to unions? Are you gonna go out there and start making people disappear? Wrongful termination? Or are we talking accidentally getting shot in the back of the head 4 times here, Doug? I need to know the threat level that you are to unions. In all seriousness though, imagine just being that brazen about just undermining the rights of your workers. Like, what the fuck was Target thinking being just so out there about it? It's almost respectable in a weird way that they're so fuck you, but at the same time, you know, fuck you, Target.
But there are lots of examples of how rigid grocery store union contracts could hurt our store's ability to serve guests and actually hurt our team members in the process.
And how would it do that, Doug? By making people not be able to work 18-hour days so that they can actually have a life outside of Target? And how will it affect customers? Making it so they have to wait 10 minutes longer to have an associate help them? Or maybe, God forbid, they can actually find the shit themselves? Because for whatever reason, people like to meander around stores and ask people who are clearly busy doing shit that they need help finding an obscure item at the whole other end of the fucking store. I'm sorry, Doug, that was a bit of projecting on my part, but let's go see these examples, shall we?
Let's say you're working in stationery, but you're walking through domestics on your way to check on something. A guest stops you and asks for help. What would you do?
In dead ass, I'd probably just keep fucking walking.
Without even thinking about it, you'd stop and give them any assistance they required.
No, I fucking wouldn't. Tip 101 for those working in retail. If you don't want people to bother you, like what this lady is describing, just grab a random item off the shelf and just walk sternly and swiftly and just keep a deadpan expression like... If you do this, people think you're super busy, they won't bother you. I did this for 6-7 years. It works like a charm.
But what if union work rules say you can't work outside of your department? What do you tell the guest? Sorry, I can't help you? That makes you look bad, but more importantly, it means our guest doesn't get immediate attention.
These motherfuckers, I knew they were gonna bring this shit up. Here's what you tell that customer. I'm sorry, ma'am, that the people who run the store are greedy ass motherfuckers, and that they don't want to actually hire enough people to run the store at its regular capacity. Instead, they decide to understaff to make those who do work at the store take on the responsibility and roles of numerous departments, which we cannot handle on a regular basis because we are understaffed. Therefore, right now I am trying to do 5 other things for 5 other departments. I can't help you right now. This is a big issue in a lot of retail stores. They will blatantly and purposefully understaff places because what's better for them? Is it better to pay one person to run 3 departments or 3 people to run 1 department? And that's the beauty of a union. If you had the union, they would have to staff at a regular capacity because each person would be designated to a single fucking area, meaning you are getting a reasonable amount of workload. So don't try and make it seem like you, the employee, are the one who are in the wrong here. Target has enough money to pay these people to do this. They just don't want to because they're cool exploiting the labor they already have instead.
Right now, team members can get more hours based on their ability to cover more than one area. You have the option of being cross-trained and becoming a more valuable member of your team.
So with this topic, I have a personal anecdote to share. When I worked in retail, I worked in one department. However, I worked in 3 different sub-departments within it. I worked in the customer service booth, a cashier, and then as a self-checkout person. Now, all 3 of these require their own training and their own extensive time getting used to that sub-area of the department. Now, having these additional roles and being a more qualified member of my team, har, how much extra you think I got paid? If your answer was nothing, you're 100% right. What ended up happening is now whenever I went to work, regardless of the actual position that I was assigned for that day, I would have to work 3 different ones. And this happened every single shift, and it drove me fucking insane. So, when they say you can get more hours by working in different departments, you might. I didn't really see a drastic increase that made it worth the extra hassle and work that I had to put in every day compared to someone else who only did one job. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to pay you more. So, why the fuck would you do it? And that's what's great about a union, is that it requires companies to pay individuals to work in these special areas. And I bet you that if you did have a union, and if I had a union when I worked there, I would have gotten paid more per skill I had gathered, and I would have been able to stay in that area and not have to do the work of other people. It allows other people to either slack off or for management to understaff so that they can put the burden of stress onto those who actually show up.
Also, under the old-fashioned union rules that really haven't changed in decades, seniority rules. Rather than treating people as individuals, everything depends on when you were hired.
Okay, so again, while this might sound bad on paper and how they're phrasing it, they're completely being misleading. So let's kind of dive into this, shall we? So they're saying, oh, because of seniority, everyone isn't treated like an individual. Well, let's take a step back and examine it from a different light. When I was working in retail, I worked at the same place for 6 years. For those 6 years, my pay was exactly aligned with that of the increases in minimum wage. What this meant is that I never saw a pay raise above the starting rate. Now, I had worked there for 6 years. I should have some form of seniority. I should have a higher paycheck because I had shown the company that I had some form of loyalty to them. However, due to the fact that they're anti-union and there wasn't these safety nets put in place for me, I was stuck working at a much lower rate, and actually a much lower rate comparatively. Seniority sounds bad, but it's not as bad as they make it sound. In fact, it's actually better. The more time you spend, the more money you'll make.
And that can be one of the least efficient and really not a nice way to operate. There's no regard for individual skills or needs of each team member. Top workers suffer because their performance isn't reflected in job assignments or promotions.
When discussing promotions in retail, I like to point to this idea of the Dilbert effect. Essentially what the Dilbert effect is, it's this idea that the better the employee is, the less likely they're going to see that managerial position. This is because why would you pay someone who's really good at their job more money to do less work as a managerial role is more typically hands-off. What companies will do instead is take the people who are kind of okay at their job and put them up in the managerial roles and have those who are really good at the baseline work stay at that baseline in order to maximize efficiency and therefore profits. Now, how does this relate to retail? Well, it's pretty easy to see. If you're a really good worker in retail, you're probably not going to get promoted. And if you are, you fought tooth and nail for it. A lot of the time, they'll stick their best work in those grunt level positions because, similar to the Dilbert effect, why the hell would you pay those people more money to do less work, theoretically, when you can exploit their labor, make them do more, grind them to the bone, and get as much efficiency and profit out of them as humanly possible? If you have one person who's so good at their job that, management could theoretically say that they could do the job of 2 people, why would you make that person do less in their eyes? And this is why we need the unions, because if you had a union, you would get the representation and you would get the promotion that you desire and should get because you worked harder than other people. There's this notion that seniority is bad and everyone should be an individual. But in fact, a lot of the times, seniority is that top level work. So yeah, they should get first priority. That makes fucking sense. If someone's better at their job, shouldn't they get the promotion or the ability to be promoted before someone who just started? And shouldn't they get a higher pay rate than someone who just started? It's common sense once you detangle all the weird verbiage that these companies like to use. Remember this, you will always be able to get what you want as a collective. Or you can at least have a better chance of getting it than if you are an individual directly talking to a supervisor. That will never work in your favor, I promise you that.
Once again, the only winner is the union.
And of course, those who fought collectively for the rights that they deserve. The fights to a fair wage, to fair hours, to better health benefits, to weekends, to Labor Day, to making sure that you don't have unnecessary stress, to make sure that employers are held accountable when it comes to the amount that they're hiring, so that you are not being bogged down with the workload of several departments. Unions are very important and are a cornerstone in U.S. history. Before this, we had the Gilded Age, where kids were literally getting their arms severed, and it was a wonder if you even came home at all. While stuff is more lax and more carefree, and we're not going to the factories and dying, there's still a need for unions, and that is because of these greedy corporations purposefully exploiting the labor of their people. So before I end the video, I just want to give a couple tips, couple tricks to help you if you are in a retail position or if you're looking for a job. One, you always want to talk about salary. I don't give a fuck about taboos. You want to know what your other coworkers are making so that you can make sure that you are making a fair and living wage. Number two, you always want to look on Glassdoor or any of those job review services to make sure that the job that you are getting is actually fair and treats their people well, because I promise you this, I don't care what the money is, your dignity and you as a human being are worth more. And number three, just don't short sell yourself and don't put up with the bullshit. You have unique skills that only you have. Utilize them. Get the job you need, get the job you want, and get the job that you fucking deserve. And with that, I hope you have a great day. I hope you liked the video. Make sure to come on by when I make another one. See ya. Bye.